and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rich Longo, and I'll be your host for today's presentation. Thank you for joining us for another Flycast Partners webinar. Today's webinar is BeyondTrust Remote Support, and our presenters today are actually from the BeyondTrust organization, our partners, Harrison Simon and Joel Patrick. Now, Harrison is a regional sales manager possessing 8 years of accomplished sales records, specializing in delivering and sustaining customers in competitive software market. Joel Patrick is a lead solutions engineer with 12 years of experience at the combined Bomgar BeyondTrust organizations. Before we get started, Harrison and Joel, let me introduce our organization. Flycast Partners is here to deliver a seriously amazing IT experience. We are founded and staffed by personnel that have many years of experience in the IT space. We took the best ideas from these collective experiences and added the best components necessary to grow and become a leading value-added reseller in the North American IT market. We offer best-in-class implementation services and training in IT service management, IT asset management, IT operations management, enterprise service management, and workload automation spaces, all using ITIL best practices. Our professional services can easily scale up or down to meet the IT needs of any customer, regardless of your size, complexity, or budgetary restrictions. We offer implementation services both on-site and remote, as well as training to help reinforce your company's long-term IT success. Our ongoing remote administration and support service offerings will enable your organization to focus on those normal day-to-day operations, freeing up time and money for your organization. Please feel free to call us at 844-FLYCAST at any time. That's 844-359-2278, or visit us on the web at www.flycast. We also have our IT experts that are there Monday through Friday on our chat that would love to talk with you and answer your questions. I encourage you to visit our website and check out all the different technologies we offer at Flycast Partners. You can even check out our upcoming events and webinars, whether they be live or virtual. This being one of many webinars we have planned for you in the upcoming weeks. Now, without further delay, I am actually going to turn this presentation over to our team at BeyondTrust.
Thanks so much. This is Harrison Simon here. I will be guiding you through the slides today. We are discussing the secure remote support product that he mentioned, but we're also going to cover a little bit of the privileged remote access and the endpoint privilege management as well. Let me stop real quick. Can everyone hear me okay?
Loud and clear. You sound fantastic.
Thank you so much. So I think the way I'm going to run these slides is we're going to start with a little bit of the why. Then we're going to discuss the who, kind of who we are, where we come from, and then the what, kind of how we can help you achieve some of these goals and eliminate some of these threats. And yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the slides. Thank you. Perfect. So here's kind of like the why. So unmanaged privileged accounts, they're under attack. If you guys are familiar with the security space, this is something where this is the easiest way that people can access your system, so that's where they're going to leverage, specifically from a remote support perspective or a help desk or legacy access product. But also they're looking to leverage privileged accounts, passwords, and things like that. And their goal is to get in the systems, move laterally, and then exfiltrate that data. And we offer a full portfolio of products to help make that very difficult, from entry to moving laterally to obfuscating passwords, et cetera. But make it very, very difficult for anyone to move laterally within your organization. So ultimately, we can eliminate the threats that these people who are trying to exfiltrate that data provide for you. And so these are metrics reported directly from Forrester, and these are coming up. I mean, this is something where they're on the rise. This is nothing that is going to be going away. Very lucrative business to try to attack and infiltrate your data. Let's go ahead and move forward. And as I had mentioned, these are not slowing down. Again, these metrics are provided by Forrester. So they are really going to be entering lots of damages, over 3.92 million. They've estimated over 25,000. But I think the most glaring on this slide is how long they're in your systems. That's something where they can enter lots of different ways, but their goal is to be in there for as long as possible, make it very sticky, make it very difficult to get them to remove, but also to identify how they got in and where they moved. So we're going to offer tools to help these type of situations and really kind of mitigate the risk, make it very difficult to move laterally within the organization, but also keep the functionality of your day-to-day. A lot of times when you discuss security products that can hinder business, we feel that our products can actually really make the process easier for using these tools and make your day-to-day easier versus making it more difficult to do your workflow. Because a lot of times security can add a level of complexity to your day-to-day that can be a bit frustrating. Because of the easy use of our products, we can give you the security that you need, but still have the functionality to do your day-to-day. But those are pretty eye-opening numbers there. It's a very, very dangerous threat. But yeah, something that we feel like we can help you secure. So that's the why. Moving on to the who we are. So this is something where I think if you've people are kind of, what are you doing over there? You've acquired a lot of companies. What's your kind of goal? And this is not new for any security company or really any company that's growing. And what they're doing is we went about an approach is to really offer the best products in each facet of the privileged access, the privileged management space. So when we looked at kind of combining these companies, we wanted to do it with industry leaders. And that's really what we were able to do. We were able to leverage Bomgar, which is the leader in secure remote access. We then acquired BeyondTrust as well, which is a leader in privileged access management, Avecto, which is a leader in the endpoint privileged management space, and then Lieberman, which is really a true platform. It's a niche product, but it was exceptional functionality in their software. So we leverage them in the more complex and the larger deployments. But really, all of these companies have come together to form the new BeyondTrust and bringing together leading products with decades of innovation across all facets of the privileged access management space. So this is something where we take, where if you look at someone else in the market, they've acquired companies, maybe they went with a cheaper product or a less known product. We wanted to do it with products that are industry leaders to really become the best in class for the full privileged access management, privilege management space, secure remote access, and endpoint privilege management. So we have over 20,000 customers in over 80 countries. 72 of the 100 Fortune 100 companies are already actively using our products. But really what I like about this page is that we have successful deployments with happy customers, happy enough to recommend it. We have extremely high net promoter score, but also we have great case studies and materials, and if you just need to chat with somebody. So if you are going to come partner with us, we have lots of other happy customers that you can speak to, get an idea of how we're helping their strategic initiatives. So we have very powerful customer community as well as case studies, a lot of knowledge that we can bring to the table. So if you choose us, it's really a partnership that we're going to, actually perfect, next slide, you can move right on to that PAM journey. So we're really trying to partner with you for your entire PAM journey. There's lots of individual niche companies and the 10,000-pound gorilla, CyberArk in the space. We're really a 1A, 1B, and we'll have some more information on that later. But we feel as though we come to it in a more comprehensive approach, but also we offer a more simplified deployment, seamless integrations across the products, and then with other products, which we'll talk to more about in just a moment. But again, we're combining best-in-class products to form BeyondTrust versus maybe acquiring a smaller company and having to build it out. So that's really how we come to be really a true 1A, 1B situation with the privileged access management. And it would be my opinion that it's even more so. The best-in-class products, very easy and more simplified. It can be very complex deploying a lot of our competitors in the space. We offer very seamless integrations, very quick deployment, very quick return on investment. And this is the how. So for today, we're going to be focusing on the secure remote support, remote access piece, and the endpoint privilege management piece. The privileged password and session management is another part of our company. And if you wanted additional information on that, that's kind of its own animal. So we're going to, for purposes of today's webinar, we're going to focus on the latter two. But if you do want more additional information on how the password piece and the session management piece kind of fits together, we're more than happy to do that. Obviously, Flycast is an exceptional partner, so we can help you kind of along that journey. It really is a journey, and it's not something that you can just say, okay, we're done. No, this is a continuous process, and we really do offer products that can help you kind of reach those strategic initiatives to become as secure as humanly possible at this point. And yeah, so just real quick, the privileged password and session management, that's going to be the legacy BeyondTrust products, the BT products. Endpoint privilege management, that's the legacy Avecto space, and then secure remote access is the Bomgar piece. And just kind of long-term goals over the next year or so, we are actively looking to combine all of these into a single solution that you can essentially have a single reporting piece, which is what we're calling Beyond Insight. So our goal is to offer these deployments, and you'll see at the bottom here, hybrid cloud and on-premise, to truly offer across the board seamless and integrated products where you can deploy in an on-premise fashion, so more traditional ownership, deployment model. Cloud obviously is more of a subscription, and that's where things are moving, and then we're hybrid of both, and we're looking to combine those. We do have a combination of integration between the privileged password session management and endpoint management, and then as well as from privileged password management and secure remote access, and we're working to have all three work seamlessly together and all report into a single pane of glass, so that you essentially have one reportable place to have all this information logged to. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Okay, moving forward. All right, so as we talk security, you really can't talk security without talking compliance. I'm sure that, if for the customers who are prospects are attending, you have lots of different compliance standards, lots of different metrics that kind of how you adhere to that. And what we have done is we are certified in a lot of these different classifications, PCI, HIPAA, NERC, SOX, et cetera. But we also offer integrations and kind of the check boxes that you need to meet those compliance standards. Our products are already built into those products, whereas maybe there's some competitors in the space that can help you maybe check a couple boxes and not others. We really are designed to check and meet all compliance standards. And that's with granular permission. So all the products have extremely granular functionality. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So you can really tailor their workflow to their security needs. All of the products are completely auditable, fully monitoring, even video recordings. Like a product like remote support, it's got all the way even to the command line or the back end. So if basically anything that's done in your ecosystem needs to be recorded and then auditable for future use. Password protection. Real quick, so there's two flavors of the password piece for our product portfolio. There's the true enterprise password product. That's going to be the password safe. So that's a product that essentially is kind of standalone, designed to manage the password process. But one of the huge and distinct advantages for us for the other products is that we have a built-in password vault that can be tied to the remote support product, the secure remote support product, and also the privileged remote access product. It's essentially a cloud vault that allows you to have credential injection, rotation, and storage working directly in concert with those tools, and there's no additional cost, which is amazing. So there's a huge security value add. Remote support traditionally isn't looked as it is now because of the way that Bomgar changed the space, but previously it really wasn't looked at kind of in the security space as important. We kind of came to that and said, hey, this is a vector that a cyber criminal is going to use actually first, because it's easy to spoof somebody, socially engineer, get access, and then get into your systems and move laterally and then elevate their privileges, and really you're in trouble there. So what we've done is we offer a secure remote support product. So if you use some, other legacy remote support products in the past, they're going to offer connectivity, but they're not really doing it in a way that's secure. They're essentially looking for usability and ease of connectivity, where we do that as well, but we always want to look at it through a layer of security. And so it's very logical to first integrate with, whatever's out there for multi-factor authentication, et cetera. We have out-of-the-box integrations for that, as well to any time-based authentication. So you're kind of getting more of the security maturity with purchasing a single product. And then you have the password vault product, which is built on, so that during that session, if you need credentials, you can just basically hit a button, inject them, have those rotated and obfuscated. So whether it's a vendor, an internal privileged user, during that session, which traditionally is basically unmanaged and unaudited, you have full audit capability of recordings, and as well as the additional multi-factor authentication and the password vault product as well. So that's kind of two different flavors of the password product. But yeah, it's included at no additional cost for the remote support and privilege access. It's a huge security value add, which we're happy to discuss more on post-demo, obviously. All right, let's keep moving forward here. All right, as I had mentioned earlier, integrating. So there's kind of multiple different avenues of integration. The remote support piece is going to be down here in the service management space. So integrations with ServiceNow or Surewell or BMC, having the ability to basically launch directly from a ticket and have all the information that is captured by the Bomgar product and the BT secure remote product, log that basically back to those tickets, as well as, SIM tools, DevOps tools, identity access management tools. So we are going to try to basically integrate with existing tools that you use, as well as offering tools that we can sell to basically help you become as mature as possible with your privileged access management and your security posture. So yes, that's basically, we play very well with others, and whether that's open APIs, software developer kits, or plugins. So as we kind of begin discussing this kind of environment and ecosystem that you have, as we kind of understand what you have, we can very much plug in and fill those gaps to kind of make your posture and security much better and quicker, obviously, as well. Okay, moving on to the next slide. And I've been doing it a long time, and I'm very excited about what we do here at BeyondTrust, but it's always good to hear from others as well. So as you can see by 3 separate reports, you have Gartner and the Magic Quadrant. We are basically 1A and 1B with CyberArk, and I would argue that's basically semantics at this point. It's that they were first, they're the biggest, and they kind of controlled the way things are discussed, and we're very much a disruptor. We come at things a little bit more efficiently, more of ease of use, bringing less complexity, less service costs. But as far as who does what better, you know, I'd say it's probably semantics. We can offer, in my opinion, a more A to Z without having, you know, to spend basically multiple products kind of deployed separately. We can kind of deploy it in a more encompassing fashion. And that's also Forrester as well, right up there at the top, as you can see. And also Kuppinger Cole as well has us right there. So truly recognized industry leader, not by just us and also by our customers, but by other reports as well. Okay, now we're going to dial into some more of the nuts and bolts of the products themselves, kind of speaking more features and functionality of the tools themselves specifically. So with the legacy Bomgar, as you can see, powered by Bomgar, secure remote access product, this is really going to be for your support users, desktops, devices. You can even leverage this as a stopgap for your vendor piece as well. But the biggest differentiator for us in this is that we are a secure remote support product, and we were really designed from the ground up by an IT professional for support. We weren't a screen sharing tool that was kind of, you know, built out to do more support, or maybe a presentation pool that you're leveraging to do support, but it really wasn't designed to do that. So all the features, all the functionality that we have is really designed to make your life in the supporting either your customers as well, but internal employees or customers very, very securely and very, very efficiently, and it's built that way. And it's, you know, built for the service desk for vendor access. It's integrated with password and session management, as I had mentioned. It even has that built-in vault that you can leverage. Flexible deployment options and licensing options. Real quick from a purchasing perspective, very flexible in the deployment models. You can deploy as a traditional hardware appliance. You can deploy as a virtual appliance. You can deploy as your own private cloud in Azure with the virtual appliance. Or all those are basically a capital expenditure that you own, and you have a recurring maintenance that you would pay for updates and support. Or you have the appliance as a service. So this is going to be more of a, you know, the SaaS type deployment. But where we differentiate is, again, we're always looking at security first. So we're actually an appliance as a service. So even though you would be deploying in the cloud, it's a single instance of the appliance. And that appliance is the only information that's deployed via that appliance, because it's using your own SSL certificate. It's a single instance, is your data. And so essentially we are managing it for you, but it's still a single instance. So added a layer of security there as well, meaning not multi-tenant, not commingled in a massive data center, not a generic URL where somebody can pretend to be one of your employees and backdoor in. It's going to have to be using your SSL certificate. And so it's a lot more secure in that, from that perspective. But that does give you more flexibility from purchasing as well. Is it a capital expenditure that you're budgeted for? You know, can we get through with an OpEx expenditure, you know, for more of the software as service, the appliance as a service deployment? And then again, security, as I've mentioned multiple times, is built in. So you'll have your own unique URL, very customizable across, you know, the way you connect, the way you use it, but also the customer support portal as well. And then you have very granular policies as well for those who would be using the tool as well. All right, let's keep moving on. Yeah, so dialing even more to the functionality of the remote support piece. So you've got the remote support, so very fast way to get connected to the devices, operating system agnostic, so Windows, Linux, Mac, mobile devices, all, again, no additional cost, all the features and functionality are included. Monitoring, so you have full audit logs, video recordings, very snappy connectivity for that, and very, very low bandwidth as far as the memory that's utilized for that. And then absolutely you have chat support, which is really kind of a great way to leverage your inbound control. So you could actually have chat as an inbound channel. I would consider that an additional value add, so you don't have to purchase a chat tool and then try to integrate it. You basically right out of the box can leverage chat as an inbound channel so that you can, multitask. One of the benefits of chat, obviously, is that you can have multiple channels versus a phone, which is one-to-one. But again, no additional cost built into the product. And then you can elevate directly from a chat to a session, increasing that end user's experience. I know that if I'm calling into a company to be supported, my goal is to not be transferred 4 or 5 times, have to have them call me back. And with a tool like this, you essentially start the chat, elevate the screen sharing. You can invite an external rep. You can invite an internal rep. You can pass the session on. All essentially for the end user feels like it's a single session versus, being kind of having the buck passed around. So very, very powerful way to have an inbound connectivity with your end user there. And then remote camera sharing, so you can really reach out into the environment, leverage a mobile device. If you have more of a hardware issue, they can connect to the mobile device. They can show what's going on. You can draw on the screen and say, hey, unplug that wire, plug that in. So yeah, really slick to kind of reach out into the environment to assist somebody who's maybe working on more of a hardware perspective. And yeah, the integrations are really slick. We have some awesome integrations and really long-term partners. And a lot of those major players in the ITSM space actually already leverage Bomgar. So the integrations are designed to work, which is nice for a change. But yeah, so I mean, whether it's ServiceNow or Sherwell or BMC or Salesforce, you're going to have the ability to leverage all that information from the appliance-based approach that we take and have that directly logged to your tickets. I mean, obviously, end user satisfaction's higher, employee satisfaction's higher, and you increase that first call resolution as well. All right, cruising on. Oh, it's a perfect segue. So to reduce the vendor risk as well. So one of the things, whether it's the Home Depot or Target, vendors are now becoming a problem for companies because they're not as secure and not as well managed because they're obviously not a part of your company. Well, one of the things that we can kind of cut off access very quickly and extremely speedy launch to security is you essentially going forward, Mr. Vendor, you are no longer going to access our systems using whatever you were using previously. Maybe it's VPN or, like TeamViewer or something like that. And you will only be leveraging our BeyondTrust secure remote access product going forward. And with the remote support piece, essentially you're just extending them one of your concurrent licenses, you wrap securities around it, they have a specific machine they can access to, and then you have video recordings. But off the backbone of this particular use case, we figured out very quickly that people were leveraging this for vendors because it's secure, it's reportable. So we started to break off a piece of the product and turn it into the privileged remote access piece. And then we added features and functionality to make that process better and more secure. So in the vendor access space now, we've broken out the privileged remote access product so that you essentially can have as many vendors as you need from a user perspective, and then you can really control what they have access to. You have notifications for when they have access, and again, full audit logs of what's done. And that's designed on more of a per endpoint basis so that you're really designed to say, hey, I've got 50 vendors are accessing these 25 servers, and we want to control when they access for how long and what they can and can't do once they get connected. So that's kind of the germination of the privileged remote access piece. It's not so much designed to do day-to-day support like a help desk, but more designed to have additional security components for those vendors, even privileged users as well. So if you've got a database with extremely secure information and you need to know when internal employees access that and they can only have access from this time to this time and they can only see this particular application once they connect, that's what the privileged remote access piece is kind of built off. And then we turn that into kind of the vendor piece of the product there. So yeah, it's an additional way to securely remote audit account rotation, access elevation, and then monitoring, again, to really control the access for those vendors. And that was built off of the Bomgar backbone for remote support. As far as speed to launch, those products are deployable in days, not weeks or months, sometimes years with our competitors. Very, very quick return on investment. So you're essentially deploy the client, and then going forward, you have to use that accessing your system still. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So one of the pieces that I hadn't talked too much in detail is the endpoint privilege management. So this is once you're connected, you want to have additional controls on what people can and can't do, as well as controlling the admin credentials that they would leverage. one of the things that Vecto has done extremely well is that a lot of people can say they want to remove all admin rights within an organization, but in practice, that's extremely complex. I mean, even Joel, who he can speak to in a little bit, is he's actively been through that process. He's a long-term veteran of the company, used to having essentially full admin credentials all the time to do his day-to-day. But with a product like a Vecto, you can put them in low flex, medium flex, and high flex capacity so that they have the just amount of control that they need to do their day-to-day, and then you essentially take everything else away. And most of the competitors in this space, it's kind of all or nothing. And because they have additional ways to kind of put controls in so I'm a sales guy, basically shouldn't have access to anything. Don't give me anything technical. I'm sure I'm going to break it. So I have no admin rights whatsoever. If I was to download something, they would have a pop-up that would come up. Or you can have the medium flexibility that maybe, hey, I really do need this, and you can get access to it right away. Or the high flexibility where essentially you're putting in your own exceptions. But then also beyond that, it has lots of granular application and command control. So once you're connected to that device, what you can and can't do, and an extremely flexible and quick start solution. But that's going to be more of the endpoint management. And the idea is that it's one thing to say to remove the credentials, but in practice, you need a little bit more than just all or nothing. So that's why I really like Vecto, giving you those kind of flavors of, kind of associated with your group policy and what your day-to-day is. And then that's the level of control that you have on your device. All right, moving forward. And yeah, and just speaking more specifically to the admin rights of removing those privileges and users on the system. So you obviously can prevent attacks. You can achieve compliance, immediate security gains, as well as having visibility into the user activity. And that's something that I really like as well. Once you deploy the Vecto product, it starts gathering information. Okay, so what are we really using? Well, we use these 24 applications very, very frequently. So we're going to put a little star by those and, allow those, whitelist those. But everything else, they can't have access to until it pops up, and then maybe, it's a one-off. You can easily give them access that way, and you have different ways. But yeah, the goal is to really, really kind of limit, but also have, the visibility to know. So what are they actually doing? What do they actually use? Again, it's one thing to say that we're going to just remove admin rights, but then what does that mean? What applications are okay? What aren't okay? When is there a one-off situation where maybe they really do need this and it's mission critical? How quickly can you give them access to that, to do that? It can be very frustrating if you don't have the flexibility of a product like ours. And then it operated one of the another awesome things is really reduces the tickets for onboarding additional devices, the frustrations about, hey, I really need this, go to meeting to come to join this webinar, but I can't because I have no admin rights and I can't download it. So really keeping the day-to-day as efficient as possible. But also then onboarding devices is very easy as well. Once you kind of have a feel for it and a pulse on what's going on, you can onboard new devices very easily as well, very quickly. All right, I think we got a couple more slides. Yep, go ahead. And then, so again, this is once you're connected, you have application controls as well. So trust-based whitelisting, vulnerability-based app management, clear and customizable messaging, meaning that's for you, the person who's actually using it. If you go to do something and it doesn't work and you don't know why, it's extremely frustrating. So there's pop-ups that convey to you, hey, you need to get permission. Hey, you need to get a session or a code in order to do this, or, do I really need this, et cetera. So a lot of good communication ways that. And then it supports multiple applications. And this is also has functionality on Windows, Mac, and Linux as well. Okay, I think there's one more slide. Yes, absolutely. So I like to kind of wrap everything up, kind of summarize the discussion today. Our goal is we understand that the privileged access management, kind of the security space is very complex. It's a very serious space to be in, but we feel as though that doesn't have to mean complexity and expense. It means more that you want to do things right, do them efficiently, and do them correctly, and that reduces the cost, but also increases the functionality. And we do that in lots of different ways, but I would say the most important are these four. You have extremely flexible deployment options with on-premise and in the cloud, so you can choose the appliances, cloud, SaaS, hybrid deployment models based on your needs and requirements and your strategic initiatives. I don't even think it's an argument. I think if I was to chat with a CyberArk or a Thycotic or a Centrify, we really are the fastest time to value. They have complexities built into their products that you just can't get around. Their speed to launch in CyberArk's case is almost 18 months and sometimes never. So that is something where we actually have customers who have conveyed this to us. It's not just us saying it, it is actual in action. So out of the box deployment option gets you running very quickly, and there's immediate security improvements versus, well, maybe one day we'll get it working and then, we'll have the security improvements. Although it's good in concept, but we can't get it actually working. I mean, spending money on shelfware has got to be the most frustrating thing in IT. So that's something where we want to sell products that work and they make, your life easier. Very high customer support. We still have the highest NPS score in the market. So yeah, people still getting a lot of customer satisfaction from the support side of things as well. That is something that we take pride in. And then tailored professional services. As I had mentioned, a lot of our competitors leverage services that as high as 30% of all of their revenue, sometimes even higher, comes from services. So it's something where they require it for even something as simple as getting an update. They're going to make you pay for a service engagement, and it's going to be costly to you. Whereas for us, obviously services are a part of this. You want people attached to you, helping you, but you don't want to feel like you're just getting nickel and dime for every single thing. So we have services that are more tailored to help you with what you need versus just, hey, this is how we do it and this is what you have to pay. It's okay, what are your strategic goals? How can we help you get there? And what services make the most sense to get you there? And that is it for me. Thanks so much for letting us attend. Really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for your time.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And folks, if you have any questions at all, please don't feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to get those answers for you.
Absolutely.
Even if you want to type in a question right now, in the next minute or two, we'd be happy to get it answered live. Otherwise, give us a call at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278, and we'll be happy to answer questions over the phone, or you can chat with us live on our website during normal business hours, Monday through Friday. Talk to an IT expert. They'll be happy to help you as well. With that being said, I want to thank all of our guests that took the time out of